I dug the original Fear Street trilogy that popped up on Netflix in 2021. Well, there's a new film made to fit into the Fear Street universe created by R.L. Stine. It's called Fear Street, Prom Queen, and here's what I thought about it. Fear Street, Prom Queen is new streaming on Netflix. It's directed by Matt Palmer and written by Matt Palmer, Donald McLeary, and R.L. Stine. As senior prom approaches, the prom queens of Shadyside High start disappearing. Still, one of the unlikeliest contestants, Lori Granger, played by India Fowler, has dreams of reinventing herself by winning the crown. Meanwhile, a bright red raincoat-wearing hatchet killer lurks in the darkness, whittling down the competition. Fear Street Prom Queen is blanded down with lame 80s references, toothless mean girlisms, and shaky motivations for pretty much all of the characters involved. Let's start with the 80s. It would be great if those behind this film knew a little bit about that decade, other than snagging a boppy playlist off of Spotify. Yeah, I like some of the music from the 80s as well, but no one in this film looks or acts like they actually existed in the 80s. It was an era of bad hair, terribly loud styles, excess, and self-centeredness. After watching Fear Street, Prom Queen, I watched the 80s slasher The Majorettes, simply to cleanse my palate. And wow, is it night and day. Look at these hairsprayed bimbettes in The Majorettes, and then at these honey boo-boos in Prom Queen. None of the girls in Prom Queen were committed enough to even get their hair cut to look like the authentic 80s gals from those 80s films. This is just a teen slasher that lifts the 80s culture when it's convenient and forgets about it the rest of the time. 80s tunes are only used to strum those nostalgic chords, but nothing about this movie exemplifies the era it so proudly touts. But I guess this isn't really a film for me. It's a safe teen girl horror with groups of girls treating each other cattily, thrift shop fashion shows, and dance-offs. While the 80s slashers weren't necessarily deep character pieces, at least it felt like the slasher was trying to appeal to both men and women. Here, all tropes that were set in Hallmark movies 20 years ago apply. And sorry, while there were sometimes cool corners where people busted out a breakdance or two, a dance battle would have been laughed out of the gym in my high school. In a movie filled with lame moments, the dance battle scene is the worst. Then there's an out-of-the-blue scene where the prom queens strip down to bathing suits and do another dance number. It perplexes me as to what kind of monstrous conglomeration of talent thought this script up. Where and when did they grow up, and what they were actually going for? There's a scene where a guy is put into a bad light for grabbing a girl by the wrist, but not 15 minutes earlier, the film shows the entire female cast, who are supposed to be teenagers, prancing around in bathing gear. Nothing matches. Nothing makes sense. Fear Street, Prom Queen feels as if it were made by people who certainly don't like horror, but also have no clue what it was like to be a teenager. On top of it all, it makes no sense that Lori Granger would be going for the title of Prom Queen. Sure, later it's established that she wants to make a change in her life, and she thinks that becoming Prom Queen is going to do that. Sure, this sentiment is completely misguided, but never in the film does the character realize that her aspirations were off track. Her friend tries to let her know this isn't her, but that doesn't stop her from going towards that goal. And while I won't go into it here, the motivations for the killer are off as well. Of course it has to do with who wins the prom, but the person this killer wants to win seems like she would be the winner anyway. Why kill all the contestants if you were confident that you would be crowned prom queen in the first place? Littered through Prom Queen are elder actors like Lily Taylor, Chris Klein, and Katherine Watterson, set up to be either red herrings or actual killers. But the killer themselves is basically another ghost-faced ripoff. There's no real reason why the killer is wearing a bright red raincoat and a weird raisin mask. No backstory to the look of the killer is given other than, well, it looks kind of creepy, and if you reference Alice Sweet Alice, that'll give you some cred with the horror files, right? The kills themselves are okay. There's a lot of hatcheting and the occasional splattering of blood and hacking off of limbs, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. There's an after-credits sequence that attempts to tie in with the previous trilogy, but since that was released 4 years ago, it's a bit of a stretch to expect viewers to get that reference. The original Fear Street trilogy worked because I think it had an interesting throughway story, as well as a decent handling of the era it was made in. The slasher motif felt fresh and felt like it was being made by people who actually grew up during the 80s slasher era. Still, it was light and boppy fun. Fear Street Prom Queen pales in comparison. It's a bland and disappointing follow-up, indicating that if you don't know the era you're writing about and aren't into horror, then you should not be doing an 80s horror nostalgia play. What say you? Did you watch Fear Street Prom Queen this weekend? What'd you think of it? And what'd you think of the original trilogy? And how about the books? Were you an R.L. Stine fan as a kid? I never really got into it, but I know a lot of people did. Let me know down in the comments. Please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside your reality. You're